Okay, it says we're live.
Alright.
Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Sunny Sanger from MakeSoil. MakeSoil.org is a free tool that matches soil makers, people who compost, with nearby soil supporters, people who contribute scraps. This gets local communities working together with nature to reverse climate change, while also making the rich soil that we need to grow healthy local food for everyone. And today, I'm very happy to say we're joined by Sinjin Larson, who is a soil supporter in Southwest Florida. And we found Sinjin because we noticed he was doing something which is still rather unusual in the world, less unusual within the MakeSoil world, but we wanted to highlight what he was doing and share the story. And so I won't spoil it for those listening, Sinjin. I'll let you tell it yourself. But yeah, please let people know what were you doing that kind of caught our attention at MakeSoil and made us want to do this chat.
Yeah. So I was just basically scanning your website for people in my local area who were accepting any types of scraps or anything that could be used for compost because I work for a raw cold pressed juice company, and on the daily we're producing pounds of just really good pulp material that can be used for something, and we were just basically throwing it out every day. And so I knew where it was going for the most part, but I also knew where it could be, what it could be used for. I just didn't know where it could go. So I found MakeSoil.org, and I just started looking around and trying to connect and communicate with whoever could use it, whoever was open to using it, and see how many people were out there besides myself that wanted to see this go to something more than the landfill. So
Totally, yeah. And so you've been. I'm going to show the pulp actually. That we'll show a few visuals for people. But basically, you have been saving the pulp and then driving it to soil makers basically who can kind of rescuing it and driving it around personally in your own time. Is that fair to say?
yeah, yeah. So I do distribution for the company, so I'm already driving around product throughout the day, and it
Yeah.
just so happened I located a permaculture site that was open to receiving a good majority of pulp
Mm.
for the day. I mean, they would pretty much take a whole day's worth, so that was better than nothing. So I just linked up with uh, my boss and told him what was going on, and it just happened to be in a good route that it wasn't really taking time away from the
Hmm.
business, and it was also just um, giving this farm good product as well. It was just a win for
Yeah.
everybody. We were taking waste out that was actually good for somebody else to use, and it wasn't taking up any more time than needed. So
Great. Yeah. And yeah, I'm just showing people MakeSoil.org here. This is kind of your neck of the woods around Sarasota,
mhm.
Florida. So this is kind of where you're driving about. And I'll show the pulp that you've been rescuing from the landfill as well, so people can get a sense. And we really like to highlight this because, all of the, juice bars, coffee shops, restaurants all over the world, there are undoubtedly many, many of them who are still just, bagging up stuff and it's being trucked away to landfills where it's rotting and releasing more greenhouse gases than it needs to be. And so, what you're doing kind of, as a dedicated soil supporter is really a model of the future that MakeSoil is working towards. It's people, feeling that, sense of personal responsibility for the good of the planet and incorporating that into what they do. And I think it would be interesting, Sinjin, to kind of know, what happened to you in your life journey so far that kind of made you the kind of person that is going to take this sort of action. Is there any, experiences or moments that you could point to?
um, yeah, I mean, I've been kind of in the environmental science field for um, the last almost decade now, kind of going in and out of it, with choosing kind of where my career path is going. And I started realizing when I was trying to um, basically get as healthy as I could, I started realizing like that there were things in my life that weren't very congruent with my health and the health of the planet. So I just started to do more research into like what are simple things that we can be doing right now instead of like trying these big huge feats that we like. I was um I was actually doing ocean acidification research as an intern, in the Keys of Florida, and that's kind of where it all, I guess, really like started becoming real for me with what we can do. There was some other people that I was working with that they wanted to build a compost system, so we helped them kind of start building one in their backyard, and we were talking about things that we could do within the industry that we were working in, and um, as time moved on, I started switching career paths and just life was happening, and I just kept taking that knowledge with me into my own house and then into the working environments that I was moving into. So just trying to spread awareness and really make just do as much as I could with as little as I could. It wasn't like I
Yeah.
had the means to start up a business, but I knew that I could do whatever it could. It's such a simple thing that you kind of just talk about it and you start to find resources like MakeSoil, and it just starts happening. So
Yeah, totally. No, we love that approach, and that's entirely what MakeSoil was conceived to support. There's the climate crisis and loads of problems in the world are so huge, and saving compostable materials from going to landfill and turning it into soil locally with neighbors around you is one of the very few direct personal actions that we can all be taking every day, that is meaningful and that contributes. And it's not as small as action as it might first appear as well. As
right.
you've been finding, it's kind of a small first step, but it unfolds a lot of magic quite quickly. Um, and so this is the pulp that you've been rescuing, bags and bags of it. And yeah, I'm sure the I'm sure the soil maker that's been receiving this is delighted to receive that, because there's so much good nutrients there that are going to feed soil and grow the fruits and vegetables and food that we all eat.
Yeah, they feed it to because there's some high citruses in there, so they feed it to their they basically it's pretty nasty, but they'll like grow soldier flies that are
Mm.
then fed to their chickens. So they'll feed the soldier flies some of the more citrus fruits, and as
Yeah.
we kept going on and building a relationship, I actually finally got out of the habit of the garbage bags, and now we have
Mm.
totes, and we have a whole system that we do with them now. So
Very nice. So next, Sinjin, I just want to ask you about your banana pit, because it's quite unusual and very interesting. So we've got a few photos, and let's just talk people through the story, and I'll go through the images as you tell the story of the banana pit. Let me get the first one up right now. Okay, hopefully you can see that.
yeah, so that was the very beginning. This all happened just on doing YouTube researches. I was just trying to figure out how to deal with the kitchen scraps, really. And so I convinced my parents that I would dig a hole in their backyard, and they just moved into this house too. So they were um, they were open to it, thankfully. And I mean, I figured, if it didn't work out, we just, fill in the hole and do whatever you need to do with the banana trees. But so yeah, just dug a hole from watching YouTube videos and started planting banana trees that I got from my neighbor. And you can see in there just layered it with cardboard and through just the beginnings of what we'll see in the next few pictures.
Okay, yeah, I'll get the next one up.
Yeah, this is from the other the other side of it, and it's already getting full. You can't even see there's a hole there. And that's probably just grass clippings in that picture that's in the middle, and then we just line the outside with other, just trimmings of other big plants that we have in Florida. I mean, there's so many things that grow here, so you just if you're not using that stuff, it's all going to the landfill. So when you start to like find things that you can be doing in your own on your own property, you can start using those materials as something. So that
Great,
holds them. All those big leaves are holding moisture, and so
nice. And I'll show the final one as well. And then we'll show people what you did with it, what you did with the materials afterwards as well. So, okay, that's some growth.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, and that's still just, that was probably taken about a year ago. So it looks completely different now. I mean, we've thinned it out, more has grown in, and, you can make essentially a garbage dump into something that looks pretty nice and actually just growing food. I mean, we harvest bananas off all those trees whenever they're ready, and the pups come up and we get more fruit off of them. And, I mean, now we're experimenting. We have papaya trees and all different types of, we got moringa and stuff growing in these things. So I mean, you're basically just taking your waste from your kitchen, and then you're throwing, instead of throwing that in the trash, you throw it in your backyard and it feeds your food, and then the food feeds you, and the cycle continues. So
yeah, very nice. And it's probably a nice little shady spot to enter into as well when you're working on the pile.
It's great. I mean, we have more now, so now it's like a jungle in the backyard now. So
cool. And I'll show kind of the next step in your compost journey, what you do afterwards with this as well, for those who are interested. So this is your kind of, I guess, more traditional compost bin or compost pile. So yeah, tell people the process from the banana pit to this and how you're doing it.
Yeah, so everything that, like, from those pictures that we just viewed, those scraps, they're kind of not really fully decomposing constantly because we're constantly throwing stuff in there. So we made these two little sections where we take shovels full from the banana pit and we throw it into the image on the left. And I also threw a bag of pulp, probably a couple bags of pulp from the juice company there, and mixed all that in. So you do see some soil, but there's also like I got a bunch of paper and cardboard in there as well. And I just covered it with a black grocery bag and watered it maybe once or twice, and I didn't even turn it. I just let it do its thing, and I think about a month or two later, it turned into what you see on the right there. And I mean, then I threw that into my into a raised bed we have in the backyard, and I grew black beans out of it.
Nice, very nice, beautiful. It's funny actually, when we started the chat, Sinjin, I introduced you as a soil supporter, but obviously we just revealed that you're both a soil supporter and a soil maker.
Yeah,
sure. And so, yeah, thank you so much for the conversation. I just want to thank you for your dedication. As a soil supporter in your work, taking it upon yourself to rescue the juice pulps and deliver them to soil makers, and also for doing what you're doing in your own backyard as well. Yeah, thanks for taking these actions, and let's hope that they inspire others to take similar simple actions in their own day-to-day lives too. And there are things you can do for all of you watching. You can go to MakeSoil.org yourself and find a soil site near you, or start your own. You can share this video on your personal page and any groups you might belong to. If you're a developer, and we're always open to developers that want to contribute their coding skills to developing the MakeSoil platform, so we can get more and more people around the world engaged in these kind of actions. So please contact us. And finally, if you're able to make a donation to support MakeSoil as well, of any size, please feel free. You can find that on our website, makesoil.org. But yeah, thank you so much, Sinjin, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I mean, a lot of this probably wouldn't be happening in the way that it is without you guys. So we really appreciate it. And thanks for getting the word out. And this is great.
Thank you. And thanks for watching, everyone out there. Keep making soil, and we will see you again soon. Take care.